Hello, everyone. Welcome to another all-new episode of the Loud Custom Talks episode reviews. My name is Nate, and alongside is my good buddy Omid. How you doing, buddy?
What is up, loud crowd of Casa Guru? How are y'all doing? And if you can't notice, in case you haven't noticed by now,
Are we getting into the trend?
I'm rocking my purple polo shirt. And those of you who have seen a most recent episode of the Casgrandes, you all know why.
It's too bad. It's too bad we can't review that episode until 2 weeks later. That is until the season 5 finale, season 6 finale of the Loud House. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we have a while to get our next review on, but to say the least, Omid's already rocking it with the skatey cat look here.
Yes.
I know. I would have
actually suits me quite well. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like you're getting all the love here.
Definitely.
All right. So my name is Nate. Omid's on my side. He's already rocking the Lincoln look right now. So obviously, want to start off with how is everybody doing? Hopefully, all are doing well. I know that recently a lot of conflict has been happening around the world, but hopefully, all are safe and sound.
Yeah. I just want to say to those who are affected by the conflicts that are going on all around the world, which we won't go heavily into because this is a Loud Custom Talks podcast. I just want to say that I hope that you all are staying safe and staying strong, and yeah, we stand with you.
To our fans who are affected by what's going on recently, yeah, we're here for you. We care for you. We hope you guys are safe. Omid, how have you been this week?
Well, let me tell you this. Now, as for what I'm doing fine, I guess. But oh man, like yesterday, now it has, if it wasn't bad enough, I know that a lot of stuff happened last night, including a certain trailer that I saw that was just, it was just awful. It was just, oh God, why did that have to exist? Just why? It hurts. It's an assault. When I saw last night a certain trailer for Paramount Plus, it's an assault on the senses.
Why would you bring that up? Why would you bring that up? Terrible day at Paramount Plus. Why would you bring up that abomination of a show that we loved, for the first 3 seasons until it went to shit? But
yeah, for those watching right now, like most of you, if not all of you, I think you all know what I'm talking about when I just say like when I'm talking about the massive train wreck of a trailer that I saw last night, it was just painful from beginning to end. And let me tell you, I have absolutely no interest in seeing that garbage whatsoever. It's just avoid it.
Why would you even bring it up? The fact that there's going to be a live action that show.
You asked me how I'm doing, and I said that, I'm doing fine. Could have been a lot better if I hadn't seen, that. God, yeah. I was in pure pain.
Okay,
I was in pain.
Okay, but besides that, I mean, why would you want to? Okay, so you start out to have a terrible week because you ended up watching that abomination of a live action show.
Yeah, but I definitely wish that that trailer was the worst of what was to come, like last night. Like I really like if the world was a much better place, that trailer would have been the worst thing to come out of last night, but sadly it wasn't the case.
And you thought things were gonna get worse, but it did.
Yeah.
Either way, I was like, okay, so I don't know if y'all don't know what we're talking about, but there is a live action Fairly Odd Parents show coming out on Paramount Plus. That is, well, look, the internet is pretty much all crazy saying like it's terrible. Yes. And I agree with all of you. It's terrible. So Timmy Turner's now a man. You still have Cosmo and Wanda, and then you have Cosmo and Wanda actually like having like making wishes to these two kids. And it's like, it's just not the right, I don't know. I mean, honestly, look, we're in a trend of like, what was it? We're in a trend of, was it reboots here? I mean, there's some reboots that work. There's some reboots that don't work. I mean, Paramount Plus did do well with, like, say for example, iCarly, but not this one. Well, I mean, I understand you have a good streak with iCarly and like other TV shows that you rebooted, but not this one. Fairly Odd Parents, you kind of like threw it in the gutter, and it totally shows in that trailer. So whoever wants to watch it on March 31st, it's available for you to watch it on Paramount Plus.
I'd rather save my energy and I'd rather save my time talking about things that are worth discussing about, that are worth mentioning, that are actually worth the time and effort that was put into said projects. Not something like that. Please, can we just move on?
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and move on. I hope Nickelodeon is actually listening about, some shows that are great, like the Casgrandes, for example. So that's the reason why we're reviewing them tonight. So yeah, let's go ahead and go straight to it. We're going to review 4 episodes that aired on February 4th and February 11th. So let's actually start it off with the first episode that came out on the 4th of February. It's called Let's Get Ready to Rumba. Synopsis here is, when Hector declines Rosa's offer to join her dance class, she quickly gets jealous of her talented instructor. Oof, yeah. Man, by the way, yeah, he's muy caliente. really, yeah. Rosa, so this episode starts with Rosa joining a new dance class with her other neighbors, and she would ask Hector to join, but he refused. He hanged out with, was it Bruno and Vito, just for soccer games. This left Rosa without a partner in the dance class until she met her instructor. This definitely gave off some drama vibes. Omid, when you saw those first scenes, what thoughts were in your mind?
Okay, before I get into this, I just have to say one thing. Let's get ready to rumba.
I know. Everybody was gonna put that up there just because of the whole "let's get ready to rumba." Yeah.
Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let me get into this. Now, this definitely screams marriage tension, and I do mean tensiony. Yeah, I actually did feel bad for Rosa here. I mean, really, come on, Hector. It wouldn't kill you to bust a move once in a while. You know what I mean? Plus, let's be honest here. You could really, and I mean really, use the workout.
I mean, the first off, it's the fact that Rosa loves to dance, and the thing is, like, dude, Rosa and Hector are like obviously the best. I mean, not really the best couple, but more like the couple that always that's made the Casagrandes to say. Where's the romance that comes with it? Unfortunately, it doesn't come with a price. Apparently, Hector really loves soccer more and doesn't want to dance. Apparently, no. So how it got built up was the fact that like Hector wanted to dance. Like Hector already knows how to dance. There's no need to actually like go to these dance classes, but Rosa wants to go, and this would have been a good time for romance, but instead. No, Rosa would end up going by herself, and Hector would just go out hanging out with his friends, and just play soccer. And I'm like, okay. I mean, from the first scene where you see Rosa like try to ask Hector to dance in that dance class, he's just, Oh, I'm sorry. I already have my dance moves. I'll watch the soccer with the guys, and of course, Rosa gets depressed. It's kind of sad when you first see that scene. So
I
it's
know,
like,
right? It's like I said, like it wouldn't kill Hector to just go to like one dance class with her, like just
yeah,
one.
exactly. But instead, no. Instead, you ended up like watching soccer. But nonetheless, I mean, like the whole first scene where we get to see Rosa join the dance class, you already get to see you don't get to see the instructor, but you get to see his hand and he wants to dance with Rosa. And I love the fact that like when Rosa came back for the dance class, she likes the instructor and then everybody else gets jealous. And I was like, oh boy, this is this is going to be spicy already.
Yes, muy caliente, like a pepper. Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts on Hector as he missed the class because of that soccer game?
Now, before we get into that, I just want to say that it's actually nice to see that Hector has his own squad. Like he has his own bro squad consisting of his bestie Vito. There's also Bruno, and for some reason, Sergio. It's like he got his own bros. He's got his own clique. You know what I mean?
Out of all the people, Sergio would actually be a part of that clique too. But
exactly, it's like how they find him. I don't know. Now onto him missing the dance class because of the game. While it is a bad move on Hector's part, let's be honest, it's not that surprising when you really consider the fact that, well, he's as lazy as a gato and not the soccer team kind of gato either.
So the thing is, Hector's a fan of the gatos, so obviously he loves to watch those soccer games. I get it, you're a dedicated fan. You actually, little callback to Bennett Like Abuelo, for example, where he, became a mascot. So yeah, I guess the love works there. The other thing too is that Hector and Vito and Bruno, we always get to see those two like become bros, but to actually hang out with Hector is a new thing too. So I'm guessing it's just a brand new squad with these three, and I also more emphasis on Bruno because we never see Bruno a lot.
Exactly, yeah. Like the only time we see Bruno is like outside. Like when was the last time that we've seen Bruno indoors?
Right. So, from all the vibes from Rosa, Hector definitely showed his jealous side. So he would get to see the dance class, and it turns out Rosa's instructor was a hottie. Oh yeah. So he would do what it takes for Rosa to not dance with him, for turning off the lights and having cats in the dance studio. Explain your thoughts on what Hector is doing here.
Okay, well, one thing's first though is that I love how Hector tries his best to consume his jealousy in each of these scenes. Like each of these scenes, Hector just goes, "I'm not jealous."
I know, right?
But then, like deep down, we know he's kind of jelly. He's a green kind of jello.
I love the fact that like Vito and Bruno were all saying like, are you sure you're not jealous? And like, I'm not jealous. And then you get to see him just dance with Rosa, and it's like, you might want to be.
Yeah, I love the part where it's like, I just love it how it's only when Rosa brings tamales for the class and not for Hector, that's when he takes action. That's when Hector takes things too far, because apparently nobody takes a man's tamale, right?
Well, the other thing too is that Hector loves Rosa's tamales, so if Rosa doesn't give Hector a tamale, it kind of makes sense why he gets jealous now. Like out of all of them, if you don't give me a tamale, I'm gonna be angry now.
I mean, like he's always been jealous, but the tamale was pretty much the last straw. It was the straw that put the camel's back.
I love the fact in this scene where like he turned off the lights and then the dance instructor, his name is Ivan, by the way, he literally just goes out. He literally lights up candles and like literally like blows fire around the whole area in order for the lights to go on. And then when the cats come in, and then all the cats actually like behave. They're like, those rowdy cats that you always see in the Casgrandes. They apparently are obedient to the instructor. And I'm like, okay, I get it. He's a good guy. What the hell?
Like, oh my God. Like Ivan is just, woof. The guy's like,
he is hot. Yes. He is hot. Yes, we get it. Yes, he is hot. And it makes sense why Rosa could be like totally crushing on him, or
or sipping on him.
I get it. Yes, it's a hottie. I don't know. I just hope. Well, he's not gonna be. I don't think we're gonna see him again. But still, it would have been great to actually, have a good little interaction with these two. So, with all those plans failing, Hector had an idea to become an inspector of the dance studio. What was it? to shut the whole thing down. So what happened was the fact that like he became an inspector, saw that pigeons were in the dance hall, and it actually worked where his studio would get shut down, but at a cost. Turns out it's kind of stupid, like how the class ended up being in the Casgrandes apartment. This means I don't know how they would do it. It's like, oh yeah, go run a lap. How would you run a lap around the apartment?
It's like they couldn't find another studio somewhere like nearby.
I don't know. So yeah, this means doom for Hector, as he would be noticed by Ivan, the instructor. So what were your thoughts during these scenes that, he tried to hide from Ivan, but he ended up still, Ivan still ended up seeing Hector as the inspector and all that?
I love the fact how Ivan sees right through Hector. Like Ivan, like when he discovers Hector at the Casagrandes apartment, like he's got a keen eye. He recognizes him like as the inspector, and of course, that's when things fall apart. When it's been revealed like that, that pretty much Ivan says to Hector, "You're the inspector," and that's when it's been revealed. And then Rosa, of course, gets upset,
right.
and then she's like, how could you be so selfish? Like, and then that's when it starts to fall apart. I'm just like, if you had just taken one damn dance class, Hector, if you had taken one damn dance class with Rosa, this wouldn't have happened, But then, like, because of his laziness, that's when he had to take measures because of his jealousy. Because, this episode really does show how when you combine laziness and jealousy together, let me tell you, it turns into a complete mess.
Well, the fact is, like, his jealousies turned out to, backfire in the end, with the fact that like Ivan ended up actually noticing Hector, and that whole scene at where like Rosa and Hector saying like, Hector Casagrande, why did you do this? And then like, yeah, he understands he's jealous, and then Rosa, I love the whole scene where like Rosa gets like hella angry, and then he actually walks out of Hector. So I think that was actually a pretty cool climactic scene that ended up happening there. It's just weird how, like I said, the dance class still ended up being in the Casagrandes apartment. I'm like, really? Like, you could have done it anywhere else instead of an apartment complex.
Oh, dear Lord.
I was kind of like, okay, I'm guessing Rosa was suspicious or something before they actually had everybody come in.
And also the stare. Rosa's stare when...
Oh, yeah.
You know that stare.
Yeah,
Rosa's stare when Hector.
You don't see like you'll mostly see like black in her eyes.
You don't see her eyes
like a black dot
out
in her eye. You never see her eyes like actually like have like white stuff and actually have like a big anger face on it.
Yeah, like you never see Rosa's eyes pop out like that. But yeah, let me tell you, that stare. Oh boy, it's a weapon that's deadlier than a chancla.
He was an angry grandma.
If you thought the chancla was Rosa's deadliest weapon, let me tell you. You ain't seen nothing yet when you see the stare.
I mean, really, the fact that like you got angry and all that was crazy. Well, then again, we never see Rosa angry. We never see Rosa angry like that. But I don't know. It was just more of an animation thing where it's like, yeah, if you want to make her stand out more, let's give her that look. So Hector. So yeah, Ivan would realize I would be noticed by Hector. I mean, Hector would be noticed by Ivan. So he would apologize to Ivan, to which he would forgive him, and he would offer Hector actually some dance classes, which would end in a stellar performance by both Rosa and Hector. So how'd you like this whole ending here with this episode?
I like the fact how Hector takes it upon himself to apologize to Ivan. Like that's a real class act right there. That's good stuff. And plus for the fact that
he ain't acting like no Bobo anymore.
And plus the fact that we finally see Hector finally being interested in dancing, just so that he wants to dance with Rosa. Because at the end of the day, like he wants to show that he wants to prove his love to Rosa by dancing with her, himself. I mean, we've seen Hector and Rosa dance together, of course. Look at 15 Candles. And so I'm just like, you bring that spark back, you know what I mean?
That's true.
But there's also the best thing about it. Well, we're going to touch upon that right now. The best part about the scene, Nate, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it just tells you, like, after being a bobo this whole dang episode, Hector would pretty much apologize, and I think it's like good for Hector because it's like him to man up and say, yeah, it's all my fault that I made my wife pretty much like hate me or have a bad class or something like that. But he also does apologize, saying like, I'm jealous, and shutting down your dance studio and all that. So I love the fact that like he forgave him, and the fact that like he still ended up giving him dance classes, and it turned out to be like a great recital, which everybody enjoyed, especially from this scene. So I love it.
Nate, the best part.
But I do want to ask about this. If you listen very carefully in the episode, Ivan did say, "My husband also does say that I'm also like a hottie," which means there's LGBTQ there's LGBTQ plus representation.
Yes.
So how'd you feel about Ivan being, gay? Like he's part of the LGBT.
Now I really want to see. I want to see Ivan return, but this time bring back his husband. Bring his husband into an episode. I just want to see what his husband's like.
If anything, like, yeah, I would love to see that. I just hope he actually does come back. But oh man, it'd be cool to actually see Ivan actually bring his husband and actually dance together. That would be great. But yeah, anything else you want to bring up in this episode?
I'm just gonna say this right now. From all the elements from this episode, I like to call this the grandparent version of Teed Off. It's pretty much the best way to describe it. It's pretty much grandparent Teed Off. Think about it. Like you've got the main character, right? You've got the male who is pretty much jealous of like his significant other, pretty much doing an activity with a hunk of some sorts. Like, you know what I mean? Like this tells you that like it's kind of a genetic thing with Hector and Bobby, how they get jealous of like a certain hunk. They feel threatened that this certain hunk is trying to take away their significant loved one. Like Ivan in this, like Ivan is pretty much this episode's you win. Like it's Hector and Rosone, you win in a sense. I just found it a funny coincidence.
So it is pretty much like Teed Off, but it's with Hector and Rosa instead of Lori and Bobby. Pretty much is. Honestly, I mean, from the way you see it, it kind of does, considering like just replace replace Bobby with Hector, replace Lori with Rosa, replace you win with Ivan, and you pretty much have that episode. It's not in a golf course, but it's in a dance studio.
Yeah, and replace golfing with dancing.
Yeah, see, so it's pretty much that. I felt like it was the same formula, but at the same time, it's like obviously their own traits. So like Bobby being, Lori being an awesome golfer, and the fact that like in this episode it kind of feels the same way, like Rosa dancing with Ivan, and they both are great dancers. Hector being a bobo and actually like
bobo.
Yeah, he's being a bobo and just being jealous and stuff. So he tries to like, he didn't dance until the end. Unlike Bobby, who actually played golf to impress Rosa. To impress Lori. So it's like it's a little different, but at the same time, it's like okay, I feel the same vibes happening from both episodes.
it kind of makes me think. You got Teed Off, you got grandparent Teed Off. How about let's say a Carlade version of
oh my god,
like where you got Carl being jealous of Adelaide hanging out with a certain hunk.
Oh my god,
it doesn't have to be a hunk this time. Like I would imagine this, like Carl getting jealous of Adelaide, pretty much doing zoo activities with Alexis.
Oh no! Please don't put this in there.
like here's the thing though. Like Carl, I would imagine like. Carl is the best character in this scenario because it's very in character for Carl to act like that. It's very in character for Carl to act out of jealousy.
To act jealous? Yeah, I can see that. That'll be a really good episode if they actually make it.
Make it a trilogy. Make it a trinity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right. So how would you rate this episode?
I would honestly rate this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Hector was kind of a lazy bobo. But then we do understand what Hector is feeling, like this sort of jealousy towards Rosa. In the same way, we understand Bobby's jealousy towards Yuen when he feels threatened that Lori's hanging out with Yuen. It's pretty much the same thing with like Hector feeling threatened that Rosa is hanging out with Ivan. Even though dancing's not his thing, like he really wants to prove, his love to Rosa. And so he at first he goes the wrong way about it, but then he turns out to go the right way towards the end. So I thought that was really touching. And also, Ivan is LGBTQ character. He has a husband.
Some more representation, you know. Yes. It can't just be all about.
Hector's own squad was pretty fun to watch as well. I also like the fact how Bruno is pretty much the straight guy of the squad. He's pretty much the voice of reason of the squad.
He was pretty much the guy who was like there. He was just there and saying like, "Hey, I'm the voice of reason." Yeah. But either way, awesome to see Bruno again. Actually, not in his cart. He's just more like with the guys this time, which is like, you know, I thought he was just gonna be with his cart, but no, we actually see him actually hang out with guys. Just, you know, but he got some amigos, everybody. Plus, I also did like the fact like this episode obviously kind of is like teed off, but at the same time, you get to see like how Hector deals with jealousy and all that jazz. And I think this is actually, like I said, a really good episode for overall. But I gave it an 8 out of 10. Little gimmies over there, but to say the least, yeah, 8 out of 10. It was not bad of an episode.
Yeah, this is pretty good, man.
All right. So let's actually head over to our next episode that also aired on February 4th. It's called Perro, Malo. Lalo gets switched with a mischievous Malo for the day, and the Casgrandes need to get her pup back. So this episode starts with the whole family watching Adios, Ana, Adios, which, by the way, there's a callback to No Show. Oh my God, we actually get to see Ana Ronaldo again. When is the last time we saw her? Oh yeah, never.
Well, now ever since, she was basically a no-show ever since the episode No Show.
Yeah, what a pun. So as they were watching the show, Lalo wants a walk to where no one wanted to volunteer until Ronnie Ann was forced to walk him. She would get distracted as she tries to watch the show. Soon mayhem would actually occur because the two dogs would actually switch. So what are your thoughts seeing the family not see Lalo switch places?
I thought that this is a good indication of what happens when a family overlooks their pet, when they take their pet for granted. It really does show how you don't know what you have until it's gone. And honestly, like the fact that the family is not paying attention to Lalo, it's honestly no wonder why the dogs were switched. And it's even no wonder, like it's even more no wonder why they didn't even recognize him until the end.
Okay, so I'm kind of like, when I looked at this first scene, when I saw Ronnie Ann just being obsessed with Adios, Adios, I get it. We saw it in a No Show. You're totally obsessed with her that you would actually get her haircut. So I can totally see, like, I can totally understand Ronnie Ann just like, I can't miss this show. So that's why she ended up tying up Lalo and started watching it on her phone. So Lalo would actually like switch places with Malo, which same dog, but a whole lot meaner. And you know why the Malo is a whole lot meaner, because she is actually raised by Becky. So actually, I was a good shocking thing to hear. Becky actually has a dog. So were you surprised, when Becky had a dog?
Well, I'm not surprised that Becky would be the owner of this specific dog. I'm not surprised that Becky would have the kind of dog that is this mean and this vicious. And considering certain actions we've seen from not just Becky, but also her brother as well, let's just say that the dog owner of Malo, it actually makes a whole lot of sense.
Yes, he is mean. I get it. Don't make it like a bully or anything like that. But as you get to see later on how Becky actually raises Malo, now you understand why she get a lot of mean.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Malo is going to humiliate, and it makes you wonder if Malo is going to humiliate another dog and make the dog cry.
Yeah. We'll have to wait for a dog episode if it ever happens in the Casgrandes. But my thing is that, okay, it's weird that we actually get to see more of Becky actually have a dog now. So it's like, what are you doing, writers? Are you going to make that, Becky episode that I was like waiting for? Okay, I get it. You want to redeem yourself for Becky after what happened in Gossipy Girl. And like, you're just continuing to put more and more emphasis on her. Like she helped it For the Record. Now she's actually here with a dog and Perro Malo. So it's like, okay, so what? Is Becky like going to be the next secondary character will have an episode? Like, yeah, I would love that. So I can actually get to see like how she can redeem herself for what happened at Gossipy Girl.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say right now it's gonna be a long and hard.
Oh come on! I have to say this first, my Becky episode, Casgrandes crew. Just give me a Becky episode, and I'll be okay with it.
Becky and Dodge. That'd be great.
Okay, that'd be a good one too. We already have that at Throwing Pains, but anyways.
Becky and Ricky.
Yeah, brother sister, that can work too. So yeah, it turns out Becky and Ronnie Ann's dogs would switch places. Both dogs are way total opposites of each other. So when Ronnie Ann took Malo, great name by the way, Malo means bad,
Yes.
FYI in Spanish, home to the apartment, he would wreak havoc in the apartment. What were your thoughts on this moment here, where like Malo starts to just be all, aggressive to the Casgrandes?
This actually sets up for an interesting premise. It pretty much sets up for a Prince and the Pauper story of some sorts. This is what I like to call it. Or rather, I like to call it the Prince and the Pupper.
Wow.
But really, though, it shows what happens when two different dogs are being put in environments they aren't used to. Like, pretty much, like, why have Malo, like, pretty much, it's, like I said, it's what happens when two different dogs are being put in environments they aren't used to. Like, you got Malo wrecking the place, chewing toys and furniture, eating up Sergio. Actually, this dog isn't so bad after all. And overall, being a malicious or Malo dog. And so, Ronnie Ann and her family do wonder what's going on with Malo. But then it turns out that Ronnie Ann's not the only one who is pretty much questioning what's going on with her pet. It actually turns out that on the other side, the same, reactions apply.
Yeah, so I actually did love this part here where like, yeah, we understand. Like the other thing too is like everybody else doesn't know like what happened to their dog. So like Becky, for example, has Lalo now, which is very nice. And he's like, I love the fact that like when you get to see Becky's training towards Malo, oh my god, like, oh yeah, eat the balls and throw it at kids. I'm like, oh, Lalo doesn't do that, and you get to see that. And then of course the wrestling thing with Becky and the dog, and it makes sense why Lalo would not wrestle for Becky. So it's like. Yeah, so the training methods with Becky and Malo.
I like how Becky is getting pissed too. Like, what's going on into you, boy? You're supposed to be mean and vicious.
You're supposed to be mean and vicious, right. So yeah, I mean, like, I love that those kind of scenes there. But then mostly it's all about the focus of the Casagrandes, where you get to see Malo just continue to like wreak havoc. You get to see like Malo just what was it? Chew furniture, and like you said, Omid, eat Sergio, which could have happened, but no.
Swallow him.
No, I'm not. Oh no, he was dressed up as a taco, and Malo was about to eat him too. So it's like it could have happened. So yeah, it was bad environment. It's bad for both characters here, where like Becky has a nice dog and the Casagrandes have a bad dog. So this turns out to be a pretty interesting plot point. But just like, how the heck are they going to get their dogs back, or how the heck are they going to get their dogs back to making sense? So the kids would try their best to get the dog back to being nice, from reminding him of old toys he loves, to even having other dog owners have their say in making Lalo nice again. So explain your thoughts on how the kids try to get Lalo back.
Well, yeah, through all their trials and tribulations, I mean many, many trials and tribulations, they failed to turn the dog to good. And from what we've seen, it makes sense why. Because the dog has been trained, conditionally to be bad by, Becky. So, of course, he's not going to be turned to good just like that, just because, another, owner like Ronnie Ann told him to. It's not how it works. Also, notice how Ronnie Ann has what is essentially a pink bun. Have you noticed that?
Oh my god!
It's pink bun. Like it's like
that was Lalo's toy, but
kind of like the bunny in the commercial, like the it's like the Energizer bunny, but not nearly as cool.
But it's Lalo's.
And Malo, of course, rips kids shreds with his sharp teeth.
It's Lalo's toy, by the way, not a reference to Lincoln.
I guess Malo's more of a Duracell kind of dog rather than an Energizer.
Apparently he loves to eat those big bunnies. And the other thing too is like, yeah, I get it. Like Lalo loves like, toys that are like balls, but at the same time, Malo would like eat those balls and start throwing it at like people. So yeah, you get the sense of like, it's a Casagrandes know that they have a bad dog or something. I understand if Malo's like like obviously it's Malo, but the thing is like where their minds thinking like, man, we haven't treated Lalo so bad. That's the reason why he's treating us so badly. So I don't know. I mean, I understand like, yeah, it makes sense why the Casgrandes are close because they actually didn't see the whole switcheroo. So I love the fact that like the Casgrandes are just saying like, why is Lalo acting like this? And even with the fact that the neighbors even tried to help too, didn't work at all because like Vito tried to help him with meatballs and it didn't work out because that's how he trained his dog. And the other thing too is that Mr. Nakamura with his dog, apparently music doesn't work either because he would actually Malo would actually like knock down the would actually turn into rock and roll music instead of calming music, and apparently it actually affected Mr. Nakamura's dog too. So he's a bad influence. We get it. It's true.
He's a bad influence on Nelson. Yeah, I just love how Malo like headbangs to rock music. Like,
yeah, he
I just love it.
He learns very fast. By the way, apparently Nelson like learns very fast that he just starts to
Nelson's
get all
very
like
he's a good dog, but he's very impressionable.
Oh, and also one more thing. I haven't seen Arturo in so long, and Arturo was apparently in this episode too, but he didn't help also with the whole Lalo thing.
Like Arturo was just there. That's pretty much the best way.
No, but he was trying his best to help with Lalo, and he ended up actually getting his clothes all taken off.
I'm just saying, like for the most part, Arturo is mainly a character, like in an episode, just to be there, and not that memorable in my opinion, but still.
So here we go, Mal. So, do you already talk about like Becky and like how he's handling Lalo? Like how are your feelings on that?
Yeah, like I said, I do like how the reaction towards the opposite dog behaving the way they do in front of them. I love how like both sides from both situations have the same kind of reaction. Where you got Ronnie Ann wondering why is Malo / Lalo being mean, and then you got Becky wondering the exact same way, like why is Lalo / Malo being nice all of a sudden? What's going on? I just love how like Becky is so puzzled by it because, well, we all know how Becky is. Like,
yeah. We get it. Yeah, she's so mean. I get it, but still, I mean, like, it's just cool how like each character doesn't get it just because the whole switcheroo didn't happen. Well, it did happen, but at the same time, like they haven't seen it, so you get to see like the Casgrandes being so confused about like how Lalo's so mean. And you also get to see how Becky is like wondering why is her dog Malo being so nice. So it's like, I love how they both like switch traits and all, which is like interesting.
It really is, yeah.
So Malo would continue to wreak havoc in the apartment as well as the Mercado, to which Hector would make the decision to bring their dog to the pound. So everyone will be in literal. So yeah, everyone will be in literal tears like Frida. Like wait. So sorry, I forgot to say this. Everyone would be in literal tears like Frida. As they see him about to be taken away to the dog catcher. That wasn't until Malo took one of his tires. Just then, Malo would hear Becky, and soon they would be reunited while Lalo is reunited with the Casgrandes. So how'd you like this whole little reunion here as they finally clear up the confusion here?
First off, I thought this was the Casgrandes, not the Casafridas.
I love this. I love this scene here. It's like, and also the fact that like Carlota even said like she's crying just like her mom. I'm just like mom.
Yes, that is the best line in the entire episode. You see Frida going, I'm turning into mom. Like, I just love that line. I really do.
And then everybody started turning like Frida. They're all like crying.
And then when it's been revealed, like when it's finally been revealed that the dogs did switch places and the dogs are reunited with their respective owners, that was quite touching. Like of course you got Ronnie Ann and Lalo having such a touching reunion, and then you got Becky and Malo having their own touching-ish reunion too. Yeah.
They're not really touching. It's not really a touching reunion. It's more like this is what Becky and Malo would do. Obviously, growl each other.
Touching in their own way. In other words, a rough kind of touching.
Right, a rough kind of way. Either way, I mean, that reunion was pretty nice. I mean, this part here definitely took the cake. The fact that like the Casagrandes were absolutely sobbing, the fact that they're gonna take away Malo, and obviously crying literal tears like what Frida does every freaking episode when she cries.
Yeah, but then again, naps and sandwiches are important. So I do understand why Hector had to do what he did. After all, like I would want to protect my naps and sandwiches too. But even so, man, do not let go of Lalo.
Don't let go of Lalo, or else it's just gonna be all literal tears.
Oh my god! I was
and
gonna go all Frida. You want to go all Frida, right?
I love the fact that like at the end, what was it where they actually get reunited? It was just pretty much like, oh, Malo actually hears Becky, and there you go. Here comes the reunion. It's like actually pretty quick that they got reunited like that. I was thinking like Lalo would actually run back to the Casagrandes, and then they would actually have a touchy reunion or something like that. But no. Not bad of a reunion to say. But there's also one thing that I also want to bring up, because there was also a backstory that came in the episode where we get to see how Lalo was adopted by Hector. So what were your thoughts on that scene there?
I really do love that backstory. It really does show how Lalo got adopted by the Casagrandes in the first place. It actually turns out that it was Hector who brought him in. And not only that, but we also see Malo by his side as well. And you kind of wonder, okay, like how long has Malo stayed in that shelter for? Like, and when did Malo himself get adopted? Maybe he got adopted by Becky's mom or dad somewhere down the line when he's grown up into an adult dog, or maybe when he got adopted as a pup. I don't know. We'll never know. But either way, the touching backstory between Hector and Puppy Lalo is just so adorable. I want to see more Puppy Lalo in Casagrandes. Come on, Casagrandes season 3. Give us more Puppy Lalo.
We've seen it before. I mean, we had it in Lalo Land.
Exactly.
So yeah.
More Puppy Lalo. More Puppy Lalo.
I don't know. I've been seeing a lot more origin stories of Lalo. Like, yeah, Lalo lost his ball. There's a reason why he cries a lot. And Lalo Land. Now we get to see another Lalo episode where like we get to see how Lalo actually was adopted. I love the story where it's like, if what was it? Hector actually picked the wrong dog, we would have gotten Malo, and it's like, oh no, we would have had a bad dog for the Casagrandes.
Yes.
But the whole story backstory was actually just really touching. And it just tells you like how Hector got Lalo, and it turned out to be an awesome thing. Now we actually get to see Lalo become like the dog of the Casagrandes, who turned out to be like a really awesome dog to say.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, we want to have more backstory episodes, hopefully, because I love that. It was very touching, just to see how Lalo became part of the Casagrandes.
Definitely.
So Ronnie Ann would apologize to Lalo for not paying attention when walking him, which leads to the kids now acting more caring to Lalo when he wants to go out for walks. So how'd you like this whole little ending here?
Yeah, I really do love how the family is paying much more attention to the dog, that like the family's being the loving dog, the attention that he deserves. I just love it. They're just like, I want to walk Lalo. I want to walk Lalo. Why don't we all walk Lalo? I'm just like, oh, Lalo's finally getting recognized. Lalo's finally getting noticed. It just makes me so happy.
Oh god, it was touching. It just tells you like, you gotta be more responsible with your dog, and just like the fact that they just kept on ignoring him because of watching a show like Adios Adios. They actually get to feel the responsibility of actually like taking care of a dog and things like that. So now Lalo actually gets his own recognition, and I think that's just really touching in the end. So anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Nothing much I want to say except like this makes me more curious about Becky's home life. Like we've seen Becky's brother, we've seen Becky's dog. What are Becky's parents like? Like, I'll bet you anything. Like, Becky's dad is probably someone who used to be in the military. And that's why he is the way he is.
I said we wanted a Becky episode, so that's what I'm saying. Let's have a Becky episode.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I have a theory that Becky's dad was in the military. Like, he's been a war veteran, and that's why, like, Becky's dad is, Becky's dad's probably so hostile. And so he teaches his kids how to be hostile, and that's how Becky and Ricky end up being the way they are.
Well, I don't know. We have to see more of what happened to those two, but nonetheless, I mean, I guess Becky's family has been an interesting little bunch. But one thing I also want to say is that I don't know what, but it feels like Adios Ana Adios always keeps on foreshadowing what the episode's going to be about.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say, like, that was definitely foreshadowing when, one of the twists ended up being like the twist is like, I've been the evil twin all along, and it's like Bobby fainting every time.
Every time the twins happen,
Every time the twist is like,
it always
Bobby
happens.
never sees it coming, even when it's obvious.
I love the fact that like Carl and Hector saying like, "Oh, not another twin episode, not another evil twin episode," or something like that. Or like,
it's like,
this happens.
Look,
all
we
the
just
time.
saw an evil twin episode right now, like,
So it's kind of like, yeah, because that foreshadows what happened in this episode. And then like if you look back at like No Show, I don't know, but it feels like it was foreshadowing the fact that like Ronnie Anna definitely loves Ana Ronalda, and heck, she wants to be Ana Ronalda, so it kind of feels like foreshadowing also there too.
She would make a great Ana Ronalda cosplayer.
My god, if she ever do another Halloween episode, they should put her cosplaying as Ana Ronalda. Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, she'll be good because she looks the part. She looks the
right,
part.
and she definitely does. All right, what's your rating on this episode?
I would have to say it's a 9 out of 10. It's a pretty adorable Prince and the Pupper episode with two different dogs being switched, and they pretty much they're pretty much being themselves like in different environments, and which does puzzle Ronnie and Becky respectively. It's like, what's going on and all that stuff. So I thought that was quite an interesting take on, like I said, Prince and the Pupper story. And then you got that iconic scene where it's like everyone turns into Frida, everyone goes like Frida. And of course, Carlota has the best line in this episode. I'm turning into mom. It's like, I just love this self-awareness. It's just so awesome.
It's good. It's great.
And also, I do like how, it's no surprise. Like the owner of the Mean Dog, Malo. Yeah, it's no surprise of who the dog owner is. I'm pretty positive that it is Becky. They're positive.
Positive. Okay. You're your puns again. Are you trying to be Luann again? I think this episode was fun. I love the backstory that happened with Lalo. Like how Hector got Lalo. This whole switcheroo thing actually works out in this episode, considering that everybody was absolutely confused. Casgrandes were confused. Becky was confused, and it also makes sense considering that it never happened. It's just pretty much those two switching in the park until the end where they actually see them switch. So it's like, I love the whole switcheroo little episode here. I think it was actually really funny. Definitely the whole dramatic scene at the end where they all cried like Frida was just was a gimme, and like it's hilarious.
Like waterfalls, like
yeah,
waterfall tears.
But yeah, an awesome episode. And I kind of give it the same thing with me, 9 out of 10. Yeah, a little flaws over there. Not really the perfect episode, but still a really awesome, funny episode with Perro Malo.
Definitely.
All right, so let's head over to our next episode that aired on, what was it, the 11th of February. The first episode is called Don't Do That. Carlade fans, your food is here.
Yes. Carlade, baby, let's go.
So let's actually get into the synopsis here. It says Adelaide and Carl go head to head to win junior zookeeper badges, but their competitiveness could ruin their chances. Now, the episode begins with Adelaide imagining herself as a junior zookeeper and doing well in her role. She definitely really wants to be one, but along the way were others wanting to get the badges, like Carl and CJ. This kind of ruins Adelaide's plan to becoming one, since now all they have to do is work together to get badges, which led Adelaide to be, well, not that sweet. What are your thoughts on these beginning scenes here?
It makes sense why Adelaide would behave the way she did here. When you do think about it, her whole family is known for taking care of animals, and Adelaide yearns to be a zookeeper just like her mom. So it does make sense for her to be this driven and this determined to get the badges herself, even if it means being at odds with Carl.
I was so I didn't expect to actually see like Adelaide saying like this is now a competition. I never see her ever run in a competition where she actually said like I want to be the junior was it zookeeper, not these guys. So she's like obviously like saying to her mom, it's like, yeah, why don't you just give it to me or something like that. It's interesting because it's like she wants to be the leader. She doesn't want to have CJ or Carl become the leader. And so she wants to call the shots and stuff like that. So I'm like, dang, Adelaide, wait, I understand you really want to get it, but come on. I mean, even the other guys also want to be a part of this too. So it's like, wow, Adelaide, I didn't know expected to be so so mean sometimes.
So competitive, yeah. Like even like something like karate chops, we do see Adelaide competing, but she's always kept like a cool mind. You know what I mean? Like she's always had this like chill attitude when she performs the karate competition. Here, though, let me tell you, like she gets rough. Like she gets mad competitive in this.
Yeah, she definitely does. She really doesn't want CJ or Carl to actually. Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to see Adelaide like this. So, nonetheless, the three of them would do tasks around the zoo to earn those badges. So, as they try to do those tasks, the same thing would happen. Adelaide and Carl would fight in a disconnected couple. Oh, okay, y'all can squee now.
Yes. Yes. Oh
my god, yes. They literally are fighting like a disconnected couple for some reason.
Yes.
So CJ also, but CJ, by the way, does all the work and then end up getting their badges. Explain your thoughts throughout their quest to becoming junior zookeepers.
First off, you had me at Adelaide and Carl fighting like a disconnected couple. I'm just like, each time I see Adelaide and Carl arguing, I just think to myself, they're going to make a great married couple, aren't they? They really are. Like I would imagine, like CJ being like a marriage counselor. Like CJ is a marriage counselor to Carly. That'd be pretty dope.
I mean, this episode, it kind of feels like it, right? Considering like you see Carl and Adelaide continue to fight on every task, and the fact that like CJ has to be the one to actually like do all the credit. And I feel bad for CJ considering that, was it Adelaide's mom? She would just continue to see the fact that like, hey, everybody's doing pretty well. But obviously it was CJ's doing, not everybody else's. So it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like CJ is the only one who manages to keep a level head, and CJ is pretty much the one who helps resolve these issues, while Carl and Adelaide pretty much bicker like like I said, a married couple. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, Carl, Adelaide, please save all those arguments, save all that energy for when you really get married. That's a big when. A big fat when. All right.
Nonetheless, it was just pretty much the whole entire episode. You get to see Carl and Adelaide pretty much like fight. And then obviously it leads to them. It leads to them actually like winning each of the tasks until the last task, what we'll get to later. But like I said, CJ just continues to win everything. So it just like makes you impressed like how CJ is. Maybe he should be the junior zookeeper, not everybody else.
Well, yeah. I mean, CJ is pretty much the one out of the three who best deserves it for obvious reasons. Like he never bickers with anyone. He manages to keep a friendly, positive attitude. And he always manages to help, solve problems in the end.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, give some credit to CJ because I thought it was just to be another Carl and Adelaide episode. But to be fair, it's all three of them. But most importantly, CJ.
Yeah. Like, I just have to say this. Like, CJ, in the future, I can imagine CJ being a zookeeper in the future.
Well, then again, he loves animals. I mean, it makes sense why he would love to be, a junior zookeeper, and it shows, especially the fact that like he wants to learn more about animals and all. I don't understand for Carl and Adelaide. I mean, like Carl, I don't understand why he wants to be a junior zookeeper, just to be the king of all the animals, I guess. But Adelaide makes sense considering that her mom, Becca, loves animals too. So maybe Adelaide wants to grow up just like her mom.
Yeah, like I gotta wonder, like, is there like room for like 2 or 3 zookeepers? I would imagine CJ, Adelaide, and not really Carl. Like Carl's gonna be more like a DJ in the future. I would imagine Sid being like the third
but
zookeeper.
Sid will probably be all about how do you say K-pop. She would definitely want to be a roadie for 12 is Midnight. So I can't wait for that 12 is Midnight special.
So pretty much be the 12 is Midnight's own chunk in a sense.
Right? I can't wait to see what 12 is Midnight special is going to be about because it literally is going to be a special for those guys.
Oh, it's going to be quite special, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sid is going to be all over that one. So yeah, I think we explained like how bad we felt for CJ, considering that he was pretty much left out of like all the credit. So do you feel bad for him that he just never got the credit that he deserved throughout all of
Yeah,
this?
heck yeah, I feel bad for him. Like he's the only one who manages to stay focused, like in this entire zookeeper day. Like this entire zookeeper mission, CJ always manages to keep a level head.
Right. So yeah, just I don't know. Like with the fact that Carl and Adelaide continue to fight and all that jazz. See, there's no credit for CJ, and I'm like, I feel bad for him. But at the same time, like we haven't had a CJ episode in quite a while.
And it's at the same time, it kind of mirrors how the show as a whole doesn't give CJ enough credit, doesn't give CJ enough episodes. Hello.
Yeah. So I love the fact that this actually just reflects back to this. I love the fact that this actually reflects back to like where the main focus is actually on CJ, not Carl and Adelaide.
Seriously.
So here's the thing. They have one more task to go through because they went through a giraffe cage, a giraffe pit, a gator pit, and a porcupine pit. This time they actually have to make a shelter for the turtle sanctuary. So this turtle named Lois, this turtle named Lois needs a new house, but Carl and Adelaide would let Lois the turtle out of her habitat, meaning that she would be anywhere in the zoo. This is where Carol and Adelaide would set their fighting aside to seek Lois, in where we get to see them almost see Lois as gator food. So luckily they were able to get her out of the gator pit and back to her natural habitat, where she would get a nice place, all thanks to the new junior zookeepers. What are your thoughts on this moment here where they had to save this turtle and get their zookeeper badge for that?
Hey Lois, you're a turtle.
No, not that Lois. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now I got that. Why would you bring Family Guy in this?
Okay. Now that I got that out of the way, let's focus on the scene now. Now we see Carl and Adelaide and CJ trying to help build shelter for Lois, and then I just love that whole thing with Adelaide and Carl arguing over like if they want to build like a bamboo house or rock house, where you got Adelaide, of course, makes sense for her to pick a bamboo, and then you got Carl pretty much saying, "No, let's go with rocks." Right?
I love the fact in the episode where like they thought they saw Lois, but instead it was a rock shaped like Lois. So I was like, oh, what the? I'm like, God damn it,
Lois
Carl.
actually is much faster than we thought. Like if Lois can think about it, like Lois ended up going from one position to another like a bit too quickly, if you ask me. Like, is she a turtle or is she like a fast turtle?
It's weird considering like she was very slow in the gator pit, but in her habitat she actually was like faster. I don't know.
It's like the plot decided to have her moves faster. I don't know. But then I love how.
Yeah, go ahead.
But then it turns out that Lois was about to be gator food. But that is not until like CJ comes up with an idea to save Lois, and then that's when Carl and Adelaide decide to make peace with each other and pretty much decide that they agree that the two don't deserve to be zookeeper scouts. It's really like CJ doing all the work. Like that's where CJ gets the credit he deserves.
Right. In this like scene here where we get to see like Carl and Adelaide still continue to fight. I love the fact where CJ says like, "Let me guess, you guys were fighting so much that you forgot about Lois," and it's true, that actually happened.
CJ picks up on things. CJ picks up on.
He does. So he's smart too. He's a really smart kid too. I love that. I love that little sarcasm. There's like, "Let me guess, you both are fighting, and that's the reason why Lois is gone."
Love that.
Yeah, and the fact that they all work together to get Lois back to her natural habitat, and the whole like tension scene here where like the gator's about to eat Lois, and the thing is like, yeah, she's trying to get into the toothbrush so that all the kids can like fling her back to the habitat. I love the fact that like, "Run, turtle, run," and then she just tries her best to run, and then like obviously it's a turtle, so she just literally like tries her best to like get on it. Oh my god, it was just funny all around, that whole scene there. And of course, like I love the fact like how the habitat actually ended up being, because it turned out to be like her dress up place, because like she literally would dress up like a person who like dances, or like a turtle that has a lot of jewels.
Punk,
and I'm like,
a punk turtle. Punk Lois turtle was awesome.
A punk turtle.
I would keep the punk look if I were her.
I'm guessing this was just more of a hilarious gag to actually have the turtle actually dress up like that. Yeah. Well, the other thing too is that they also turn out to be junior zookeepers, which in the end, good job for them. So congrats to all three of them.
Especially CJ. CJ's the man.
So CJ definitely deserved it. Well, Adelaide and Carl, I don't know if they do. Maybe next year.
But at least they cooperated in the end. But even so, it's really CJ.
To be fair, they really should have not actually ended up getting those like first three. But then again, like they just ended up getting it. I don't know. So lastly, they would have been given the task that they wanted to do, name the new animal in the zoo. Carl and Adelaide would give the naming rights to CJ, which is, an awesome thing for those two to actually give it to CJ, considering that CJ did everything in the episode, where he would name the new panda Senior Stinky after what the baby did. So how'd you like this ending?
Senior Stinky is like, I do like the fact that CJ gets to name the pet turtle, because let's be honest, he's the one who deserves it the most. Senior Sticky is not the best name for it. Honestly, if I had my way, you know what I would have named that panda? Poe. I would have named him Poe.
On, just because of Kung Fu Panda.
And that panda's got a bright future ahead of him as a kung fu, warrior. I'm just saying.
I'm saying all I can say is, Carl and Adelaide does. I do give them credit, the fact that they give the naming rights to CJ, considering CJ did all the work. Yeah, the ending was kind of meh, considering what the panda actually ended up doing first, and then he calls him Senior Stinky. And I'm like, maybe you could do a better name than that. Why did you call him that, CJ?
I know, right?
Yeah, the ending was kind of
the animal. The animal's gonna get teased a lot, like in high school.
But then again, it's a panda. I don't know if they all get teased. I don't know. It's weird to be Casgrandes when it comes to the animals. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much how the episode ended. Any other thoughts you want to bring up in this episode?
Yes. Let me tell you this. Like, Carlade, we know that by the fact like how they argue like a couple. Let me tell you, like, Carlade is closer and closer to actually being a canon ship. Like, I can see it now. We're one step closer, guys. We're one step closer.
I can see, like, look, all the recent episodes of Carl and Adelaide, it's more like Carl taking care of Adelaide, and then Adelaide also helping Carl out with certain things. They even go into competitions like karate, for example. Then you get to see Carl and Adelaide, like, have play dates together. So it's like, it's gonna happen. I have a feeling it's gonna happen, but like this episode is more like, okay, now we get to see the fighting side of this couple. It's like, okay, so we get to see the fighting of like how the ship is going to work. Apparently both of them like don't agree with certain things like this or that. So yeah, I think there's something going on in the Casgrandes crew that they're gonna try to do here with Carl and Adelaide.
They're trying to tell us something.
Or maybe they're just treating us the fact that we actually ship those two. Yeah, I thought this is an awesome, good episode. Omid, how would you rate this episode?
I would honestly rate this episode an 8.5 out of 10. It was a pretty fun Carlade episode to watch. And then, of course, you add CJ into the mix. They made quite a trio when you do think about it. Of course, the bickering between Carl and Adelaide, while it did get a bit tiring at times, like, it's pretty fun to watch when you consider the fact that Carl and Adelaide do tend to be at odds at times, especially in episodes like Karate Chops, to name another example. But then, like, at the end, I like how Carl and Adelaide finally make up, and then they join together. They pretty much finally, focus on the objective, which is to help the animals, not to become the zookeeper master for the, benefits and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome. And of course, we get to see the zoo as a setting. Like, I love the whole atmosphere of that zoo. It's just so exotic and so massive.
So I think I love the episode where just the fact that we actually end up. Well, here's the thing: like, we first see Carl and Adelaide fighting, and we're thinking that it was going to be the episode. Oh, it's just going to be these two bickering. The fact that they try to become junior zookeepers, but with the twist that CJ was also in it as well, kind of makes it like a CJ episode, which is awesome. Like, we never see CJ episodes. Yeah, I would say like Carl and Adelaide fighting was just more of like a background thing, but this is actually more towards focusing on CJ, where he ended up actually like becoming the best person in the zoo and end up naming that panda. Yeah, the name is kind of but at the same time, it just tells you like, yeah, CJ's an awesome kid. Please let him have all the credit he can. Instead, he never gets it. But yeah, I say the twist actually did do a pretty good job. So yeah, it did definitely surprise me. Yeah, the fighting with Carl and Adelaide can get a little bit about it. You may say like, oh, they're not really a couple; they just really love to fight each other. But just wait and see. Maybe the next Carl 8 episode will come up, and then we'll probably think of these two actually as caring for each other. But yeah, a good episode overall. Not really the best. I gotta give it a 7 out of 10. Maybe the ending kind of was an ending, but you just get to see get more. You have to see the fact that there's more spotlight on CJ, which is awesome. If it only was like made like better that way.
Yeah, but what it was quite a great episode in my opinion.
It's got 7 out of 10 for me. So yeah, you can tell me my judgment. All right, last but not least, let's actually go to the last episode that also aired on the 11th of February. It is called what is it? Maxed Out. In the synopsis here, it says Hector finds out that Vito has a huge tab at the Mercado, and Vito offered to pay him back no matter what. So we get to see, Hector and Vito as BFFs, and it's not a surprise. They always are good friends to each other, but you never see them like so close, like where they actually have a secret handshake. They literally like whack their stomachs together, which I thought was interesting.
Belly bros,
boom, belly bros, boom. Yes. But here's the twist, though. Vito actually has a tab in the Mercado of 10 grand. Oh God, 10 grand. Was it just because he kept on getting a lot of like stuff like horchata and snacks for his dog that he ended up actually going up that high?
Yeah, considering he's a frequent customer in the Mercado, it honestly doesn't surprise me.
Although it surprises me the fact that like, wait, does he pay also, or is he just puts a tab? Like, apparently in this episode he actually does put a tab. This angered Hector. So even as BFFs, would you be angry to your friend if they owe you that much? Do you feel the same way as Hector did if that happened to you?
Of course I would. It's $10,000, okay? Like, when you owe someone $10,000, honestly, I don't care how expensive it is. You got to pay your due. You got to pay your debt. Otherwise, it kind of you're letting them mooch off you. Like if you don't pay them, you're kind of mooching off of them, and that's not cool.
Yeah, I feel the same way for Hector in this one. I mean, like, yeah, cool. We're all BFFs. I love the fact that it literally happened after the handshake, where they're like, yeah, belly bros, and then you owe $10,000. Oh, I hate you now.
It's kind of a move whiplash. It's a kind of a whiplash, but yeah.
Yeah, it literally happened in the minute right there. It's like, okay, I didn't know you're all BFFs, and now you're not friends anymore.
Yeah. Talk about mood whiplash.
So yeah, Hector. Now here's the thing. Yeah, we get it. Vito owes him a lot. So Hector, as a best friend for Vito, actually gave him a job over at the Mercado. So that's a way to help pay off the tab that Vito owes, which turned out to not work out well as his tab continues to grow. What were your thoughts on Vito as he tried to work in the Mercado?
Let me tell you, it turns into a disaster. Like instead of the tab getting lower, it actually manages to increase tenfold because of Vito's antics and Vito's mess ups and all that stuff. Yeah, let me tell you, Vito wouldn't consider him employee of the month or friend of the month for that matter, considering he owes Hector 10 grand which he never paid.
For me, I never expect to see Vito as a bad worker, but now we get to see him in his like habitat where he actually works, and maybe there's a reason why he doesn't work.
Yeah, because who would want to hire someone who pretty much waxes butter on the floor, for God's sake?
He puts butter on the floor. He literally like pranks. He literally has his dogs pretty much eat food from the Mercado. What other things can we say
about Vito? The eggs, like crush the eggs.
Oh yeah, and crush the eggs. Oh, and also try to do deliveries and failed epically.
Yeah, Vito is no par. No,
he's not a par. So yeah, we just continue to see Vito continue to be worse and worse with the Mercado, especially that one scene where Vito actually like crashed the Mercado truck into the grocery itself. So yeah, he turned out to make the Mercado worse, which led Hector to befriend Vito and never see him again, even if it was his BFF. So since his BFF is gone, he had no one to talk to and had to make small talk to people that go around the Mercado, like Bruno, Carl, and Ronnie Ann. Do you feel for Hector now that his BFF is out of his life?
Honestly, when you owe someone $10,000, when you owe someone so much money and they never pay it, honestly, like you're kind of better off without them. Honestly, I feel like, as much as I like Vito, let's be honest. Like if I were Hector, I would have cut out Vito too. But then like Hector starts to get lonely because even though Vito failed to pay the money, Vito was pretty much the closest friend that Hector has, and Hector has tried to pretty much not think about Vito anymore. Hector has tried to befriend, other people, including his own grandkids. But then it turns out that even his own grandkids, don't really, know Hector's inside jokes. They don't really mesh well with him, considering the fact that, well, they're young and he's old, and pretty much since Vito's old, he, understands Hector more than they do.
This part here, I mean,
the part with Ronnie Ann, oh god, like the part
cheese?
What's the cheese? And then Ronnie Ann's like, what? I love how Ronnie Ann is so confused by what Hector says. Just confused Ronnie Ann is just too adorable.
I love the fact that Ronnie Ann, like, even she tries to play along with Hector, and even like Hector was doing. I can understand, like, he's desperate considering he has no best friend, so he literally is pretty much alone. Like he literally is in his like guitar saying like, "I don't know my best friend, I am alone," etc. And then I love the fact that he tries to get friends, as much friends as he can. So say for example for Bruno, where obviously you see the squad back in what was it? Let's Get Ready to Rumba. So you get to see like Hector try to have some small talk with Bruno, and then it turned out it didn't work out as well. So it's like, I get it. He's alone. Yeah. He lost his best friend. So he's trying to find a good best friend. And obviously it's not working out. Bruno's not working out. Carl, Ronnie Ann, obviously they're not going to work out with him. I love how Carl just says like, hey, what? I love how Ronnie Ann and Carl's like, what's going on? And then Carl says like, I think he's lost it.
Yeah.
So
it's an old man thing,
and it makes sense considering like he lost his best friend, and I mean, like, if you lose a best friend, you kind of feel like you're alone, like, in the world, and it kind of does make sense why Hector starts to act like this. So
yeah, it's kind of a lonely feeling.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your best friend. So after many failed attempts of trying to get someone new to talk to, he would get word from Bruno that Vito still misses him and that he's doing all that he could to pay off the tab, even going through high lengths to pay it off. Literally high lengths, if you saw the episode. So a couple of scenes would also play out where Hector would apologize to Vito, save Vito, and even do their handshake to save themselves. So how'd you like this little climactic scene in this episode?
Like, I gotta be honest, like, instead of Hector apologizing to Vito, it should have been the other way around, but it's nice to see them reconcile, even though it could have been done a bit differently, in my opinion.
It's weird how to see it, considering how, Hector wants to apologize and he pretty much banned him from the Mercado. So, like, Vito's like, I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry. And then he falls down, and then Hector had to go help him, save him, and then they're about to all fall down, and then their handshake pretty much saved them. I thought that was like that was kind of cheesy, the way that they ended that way.
What's the cheese?
Right. But still, I mean, like, yeah, I understand Omid's point here, where like Vito should have apologized, considering like, yeah, he had a huge tab for him to pay. But Hector being so desperate makes sense why he wanted to apologize as well. Look, they're best friends. They'll try to work it out, even if he owes $10,000. And the fact that, like, even for Vito, like, with all the work that he's done, he still understands the tab. So he's trying his best to at least get reconnected to his best friend.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty make a attempt to pay off Hector. So
right. And even when he had to do like the window washing job, I mean, still, that just tells you like he really cares for Hector. He understands the situation. So he does this in order for him to actually get back to his best friend. So it's like, now I understand like why Hector and Vito are actually good BFFs. This is how BFFs are supposed to be treated. they never forgot each other. So it's like it's good to see that sort of chemistry there.
Definitely.
So after apologizing, it seems all is back to normal in the Casgrandes Mercado. Vito would try to pay off the debt, but it seems like there was an error. Apparently, Vito only owes $100 instead of $10,000. This is all due to Bobby. How do you like this ending here?
Okay, let me tell you. When I saw that moment, I was pretty much, I was pretty much like, dang it, Bobby, that boy ain't right. Like this ending made me quote Hank Hill. This ending made me quote Hank Hill because dang it, Bobby, you got to work on the decimals, boy. Seriously, if Bobby had just focused on like getting the decimals right, doing the math right, this whole situation wouldn't have happened in the first place. And then like you see like Vito and Hector and the dogs pretty much growling at Bobby. I pretty much felt that because yeah, like I love Bobby, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Bobby, you done goofed, man. Like this is where Bobby went goofy here.
This is interesting. I mean, like, if it wasn't for Bobby's goof, then he would have had it. I feel like this was kind of a what was it? A cop out.
It was a cop out.
Would you say would it be a little bit of a cop out here? The fact that like Bobby made the mistake and then this shouldn't have not happened.
Bobby's mistake, like, pretty much set up the plot. If Bobby had learned
more
if Bobby had screwed up with the numbers, then we wouldn't have an episode. Go figure.
I mean, honestly,
like Bobby, you're a businessman. You're supposed to be better than this, man.
Would you be considered foreshadowing the fact that like Bobby, like he was trying to ace his math test? So you get this, like in the beginning of the episode, he said like I'm trying to learn math, and Vito, you owe $10,000. That's the reason why he did math.
Like Bobby, if you're gonna be a businessman, you got to do your decimals right. You got to do your math right.
And he said he aced the test except the decimal part. I don't even know where to put that little dot at, and I'm like, oh god damn it, Bobby. No, the difference between a comma and a period or a decimal point, because it just gives you a whole different cost. And I'm like,
oh my god.
So I mean, would you say this is a cop out? Would you say you were a little bit annoyed with the ending, or would you say you were satisfied with the ending?
Honestly, while I am a bit annoyed, like it's Bobby. Like Bobby, like you got to remember, like he's pretty much the male Lenny of the Casgrandes, so you would expect him to make some kind of mistake like this. But then again, like I said, Bobby is a businessman, so on one hand, I can understand like given his character, but is kind of bubbly, dissy himself. But on the other hand, he is a bodega businessman. Like, okay, bodega employee, but yearning to become a bodega mercado businessman. So honestly, he should have known better.
He should have known a whole lot better, but instead, no, we ended up just having Bobby beat Bobby and just ruin the fact that this thing could have been all situated if Bobby actually knows his decimal points. I think the ending was Bobby, this ending was this ending was definitely a cop out. It just feels like this episode should have not happened if it was for Bobby not actually being bad at math. So it's like, okay, this kind of cringes me. But again, I was annoyed.
We love Bobby, but we don't. We love Bobby, but Bobby done goofed.
Yeah, to be fair, I was annoyed with that. I was like, oh god damn it, really, Bobby? This episode would have been great if actually Vito continued to pace, and then Albina could continue continuity point where, like, say for example, Vito comes in and then he owes him money. There you go. That would have been a good continuity point, but no, Bobby ended up actually just ruining it for him. So it's like, okay, so you only owe $100. Man. You only owe $100, which you pretty much owed. So it's like, yeah. I don't know. It was interesting. So anything else you want to bring up from this episode?
Yes. I just want to say this. Dang it, Bobby. Okay, I'm done.
I got nothing else to say. But yeah, I think we're gonna see more of Vito and Hector being BFFs and all. All right. So how would you rate this episode?
I would honestly rate this as 6.5 out of 10. Like maxed out, turned out to be a bit mediocre. like, of course, the broship between, Hector and Vito is quite fun to see. Like, they're pretty much the old man Click and McCloud in a sense, if you get what I mean. Like, they have that Click and McCloud energy with them, down to a point where they have their, like, not only do they have their handshake, but they also have their belly shake for some reason.
Yeah, their belly like bump together or something.
Belly
so
rolls.
Like, you get to see but then, how they become like Bobby and but how they become King and McCloud to say. So it's like Hato or something.
But then the episode itself is kind of a the episode overall is kind of a mess sort of thing, where it's like it could have been done much better. Like I said, if I were Hector, like, I would have been peeved too. Like, I wouldn't understand where he's coming from. But then at least, like, Vito does make an attempt to pay off the debt. But let me tell you, the ending is just, oh my God, just dang it, Bobby. The episode, the ending made me all Hank Hill, like I said.
Right. So I would say, this is the first episode where you get to see Hector and Vito actually have their friendship highlighted in this episode. But yeah, it wasn't really the best to say. Yes, I understand this is pretty much a test of friendship episode where, Vito owes him a lot. Hector obviously gets angry about that. But in the end, it should have been Vito actually apologizing instead of Hector. But instead, Hector, he's so desperate for BFF that he apologized, which I thought was kind of missed the point in that whole friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah, he kind of missed the whole point in that. And the other thing too is that it was a cop-out ending. I'm like, the ending was like, oh God, Bobby, if you didn't do this, if you actually weren't bad at math, you wouldn't actually have this episode happen. So it's like,
exactly.
Bobby, it's all your fault. It's all your fault. I get it. Like, you could be a little bit like ditzy, but this is kind of a big ditz here, a big goof up for him.
Blame Bobby Boo Boo Bear.
Yeah. I give it a 7 out of 10. I think it was okay. Like, seeing the friendship tested between Hector and Vito. The cop-out ending definitely was absolutely like, what the freak? Like, if they actually didn't have that, then maybe Vito and Hector would be friends, and then Vito would probably still pay off Hector. That would have been like a thing that we'll see like throughout the Mercado, throughout his time in the Mercado. But no, it just turns out to be like, okay, Bobby, you made a mistake, so I will see pretty much Vito continue to have a tab.
Oh dear Lord, yeah.
So yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. Not the best, definitely not a good episode.
Yeah, Bobby Boo Bear, more like Bobby Bobo Bear.
Right, Bobby. Yes,
Bobby Bobo Bear.
He would be huge Bobo. Yes. All right. That's pretty much it. We reviewed all our episodes. We reviewed what was it? Let's Get Ready to Rumba, Perro, Malo, Don't Do That, and of course Maxed Out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed those episodes of the Casgrandes. And that's pretty much it for our review episode of the Loud Casa Talks. Remember that you can be able to listen to the Loud Casa Talks wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Our Loud Casa Talks will be there for you to listen to. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Click the bell to be notified when we are live, and also hit the red button so you make sure that you're subscribed to us. Now, we have to wait until the final episodes of Season 5 come out, which will be next week. So next week, we'll be reviewing 2 Loud House episodes, 2 Casgrandes episodes, Skaty Cat, that one Casgrandes episode that's coming out this week. I forgot the name of it. Weather Beaten, yeah. So we're going to review Weather Beaten, the Skaty Cat for the Casgrandes, and we're also going to review Runaway McBride and not Fremanya. What was the other one?
The other one was
McBride and I forgot the title of that one.
People in the comments below help us out.
It was Runaway McBride and something else. I totally forgot. No. Sorry. In 2 weeks, we're gonna do a Loud House review.
High Crimes. Was it High Crimes?
Yeah, High Crimes. Yeah, Carmine got it.
Yeah,
right.
It was
High Crimes. Yeah.
And they
Runaway
McBride.
Oh no! Don't do that anymore. I want Becky to have an episode. Okay, I want her to redeem herself. Shut up.
We're gonna talk about Runaway McBride.
But yeah,
and High Crimes.
But yeah, we have in 2 weeks. Actually, we're gonna do Loud House episodes, considering that we're also gonna forgot about the other two that we didn't review yet: Appetite for Destruction and Frame on You. So we're gonna do Loud House episodes in 2 weeks. We'll have Frame on You, Appetite for Destruction, Runaway McBride, and High Crime. So ready for those?
Let's talk about Frame on You. Let's go.
You already did a preview of it in our last.
I got a lot to say about that episode.
Girl Jordan, how could you?
All good things.
And for those who are wondering what our next Loud Casa Talks episode will be, it will not be next week. I have something going on next week. So we're going to be doing it on the next Sunday, the 6th of March. We're going to be talking about the fallout of the Casgrandes cancellation. We understand what happened with the Casgrandes. They are canceled after 3 seasons. So we now have to think about what's going to happen next. I know the Casgrandes is going to move to the Loud House. What's going to be happening there? How about the secondary characters? Are they going to be also a part of the Loud House? Other things to also think about, why Nickelodeon did this move, etc. So yeah, there's a lot to think about when it comes to what happened with this cancellation, and me and Omid are going to be talking about what the impact of the network and what the impact of the Loud House is going to be now that the Casgrandes is going back to their show.
Yes, it's unfortunate news, but it's unfortunate news that we have to discuss in full length, so brace yourselves.
Yeah, so yeah, mark your calendars. March 6th, 2022, we'll be back on that Sunday for a new Loud Casa Talks episode. All right, but that's pretty much it for us here. Thank you all very much for watching on our YouTube. Hope you guys loved the review. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And please get yourself this purple polo shirt and join the Lincoln's Purple Polo Party, okay? All people are welcome. You know, it's definitely worth the price. It looks good on you. It looks stylish on you. You'll look good on it. Trust me. And until next time, smell you later, Casa Crew.